Welcome back to another World Cup fantasy video ahead of Matchday 2. This will be the team selection where I discuss my Matchday 1 performance and talk about my future transfer plans. Will I be wildcarding in Matchday 2? You're going to find out in this video, and you'll also see the best wildcard team in the best wildcard team video, so be sure to check that out as well. And just as a reference, this video is recorded before all the Thursday games, so let's wait and see how the likes of Brazil play. That'll be very interesting to see, and let's also try to get this video to over 300 likes, and let's push on towards 20,000 subscribers. You'll see my full thoughts and my updated ranks and points in the deadline stream tomorrow, so be sure to tune in for that, and let's get straight into this video. My goalkeeper is yet to play. I've made a substitution and Roche has come in. He's going to be facing South Korea. And the reason why I already made this substitution is because my original goalkeeper, Emi Martinez, had 0 points after the Saudi Arabia game. Argentina went 1-0 up. Things were looking good at halftime. And then within the first 6 minutes, I think, of the second half, 2 goals by Saudi Arabia just shocked the world. And Argentina succumbed to a 2-1 defeat. And literally, they just needed one more game to match the all-time unbeaten record. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. And now I've got Roche left to play against South Korea. He's got a decent chance of a clean sheet. But then again, you see some of the Asian teams in this World Cup, like Saudi Arabia, and you also see Japan. Just never write them off, and you just never know what could happen in football and in the World Cup. But I still believe Roche and Uruguay will do a good job and potentially keep a clean sheet, and that will be music to my ears as my back line, my defensive line, has been really good in Matchday 1. 3 of my defenders have played, and that's 18 points between them. The only defender to have blanked was Kieran Trippier, who have already subbed off, and Joao Cancelo is yet to play against Ghana. So 2 players still left in my defensive line with Roche and Cancelo, but then there's only 1 player left who hasn't played yet, and we'll see how he does when we get to him. But we've got Bruno Sosa there, who kept a clean sheet against Morocco, and that's one of 3 0-0s that have happened in this tournament so far. Denzel Dumfries kept a clean sheet in a 2-0 victory against Senegal, and he had some moments going forward, but maybe not quite as effective or as exciting as he was in Euro 2020, but only 1 game. Let's see how it pans out in match days 2 and 3. And then Mela kept a clean sheet in yet another 0-0. So 2 of my defenders were involved in 2 of the 0-0s throughout this tournament, and that's already more than what happened in Russia 2018, just for context. But Cancelo, I've got some high hopes for him. If I get a clean sheet from Russia and Cancelo, that will be game changing, and that will also help me get into a really good position by the end of match day 1. The disappointments definitely lie in the midfield, all of them, and I mean absolutely all of my midfielders blanked. That includes Skov Olsen, Perisic, Bergwijn, Gonzalo Plata, and Angel Di Maria, who got a 1 point against Saudi Arabia. So as you can see, these midfielders have been absolutely shambolic, and my kind of reasoning behind a lot of these picks: Skov Olsen, top scorer for Denmark during the qualifiers, and he also got 3 assists. He plays up front sometimes for Denmark. You've got Ivan Perisic, who can get key passes, also the assists and the goals. But what we found out after the deadline is that midfielders now get 7 points for scoring a goal rather than the 5 that was originally set out for them, and there are no points being awarded for tackles or key passes. So it's been a bit of a shambles really, and now we have to change our thinking in regards to midfielders. I think Bergwijn will be a good pick going forward. He's out of position playing up front, so 7 points for him. If he does get a goal, would be massive. But then you've got the likes of Bukayo Saka, Bellingham, all doing a great job. But midfielders haven't been that great in this game so far, but the potential's certainly there for them because of these rules and how they've been amended, or at least clarified, whatever they want to call it, after the matchday 1 deadline passed. But this is my midfield, all of them blanked, and I don't want to talk about them any further. My forwards also were great in matchday 1, with Messi scoring a penalty, and it looked like he could be on for a massive haul. He was also very close to scoring within the opening 2 minutes of the game. He really should have buried that chance. You got Harry Kane getting 2 assists there, but for England to score 6 and Harry Kane not to be involved is very strange, to say the least. It's not going to happen very often, but Harry Kane is having scans for his ankle, and things are looking positive, but there is still a chance that he doesn't make the USA game, so keep an eye out for that situation. I discussed this as well in the best wildcard team video. Neymar is yet to play against Serbia, who are a good team, and they could cause some problems, but I still fancy Brazil to score 2 or 3 goals and for Neymar to be a big part of it. And then Mbappe was my 12th man. He got 9 points. I know some of you might have had him in your original team and captain him. That's very good, fair play, but I'm very happy to have had him as my 12th man. Like I discussed in the chip strategy, you know, it's a nice chip, it's quite refreshing and interesting, but it's not that powerful, and Mbappe was a decent choice. 1 goal and 1 assist, but only 9 points, so that's really all I've gained from the 12th man, but it has helped me put me in a pretty good position, as you'll see very, very soon when we get to the overall points and my overall team and who I captained. After the Croatia game, I was around 21,000 in the world, but subsequently I had no other players left on the Wednesday games, and I dropped down to around 54,000. Still a really good start, and I've got 3 players left, including Cancelo, Roche, and Neymar. So I think that could definitely change, and I could perhaps actually squeeze into a really good position, maybe the top 30k by the end, depending on how things pan out. I've got 52 points, and that's because I subbed off Plata for Cancelo. So I had 54 points, which got me into the 54k rank, but now I've got Cancelo back in, so I would have dropped maybe a little bit more in rank. I'm still expecting some big things though on the Thursday matches, and my captain was Lionel Messi. Remember, you can change your captaincy once when your original captain has played, but that's it. You can't captain a player on every single day. Within the match day, we've clarified this in the deadline stream and also in the chip strategy video and how to play guides, even back a few weeks ago when things weren't clear. And if I were to change my captaincy from Messi, who obviously got that penalty goal, it would be to Neymar, but that's about it, and that's really the only possible decision left for my Matchday 1 team. But I want to fully focus on Matchday 2, especially when the time comes, and that's why I've got a wildcard draft waiting for you. I am looking to use the chip in Matchday 2, but I'm also open-minded to potentially using it in Matchday 3. So I'm going to see how the rest of the Thursday matches pan out, and then I'll make a final decision. But as things stand, I am leaning towards a Matchday 2 wildcard. I'll probably go for a cheap goalkeeper in Matchday 2, and Noppert definitely fits the bill. He is facing a good Ecuador side who could cause problems and even top the group. Do not discount them at all, but I think the Netherlands will be the favourites here, and I would back them to get a clean sheet. Even if it's a draw, I still think they're capable of the clean sheet, and that will be fine enough with me, and Noppert would be in goal. Only 4.5 million. He made his debut against Senegal, and he kept the clean sheet. You know, really inspiring stuff, of course, his story over the last few years, and he could be the #1 goalkeeper for the rest of the tournament. There was a lot of doubts going into this between Bulow, even Sillison, who was then left out of the squad, and also you've got Pasveer. In the end, it was none of them, and Noppert is the one who started in goal, and he got the points. 7-pointer against Senegal, really good stuff, and I think he could do a decent job against Ecuador as well. Oddly enough, despite all the clean sheets flying around in this World Cup, I am taking a bit of money out of the defence and investing it instead in the midfield, as we'll get onto very shortly. I've gone for 2 Netherlands kind of defensive coverage with Noppert and Dumfries, which is a bit risky considering the opponent, but if anything, I would change the goalkeepers. I don't think I'd change Denzel Dumfries, who's probably the best premium defender option in the game right now, and I'm very happy to stick with him despite maybe no attacking returns or him not looking that sharp offensively in Matchday 1. Mati Cash, though, in an offensive right wing-back position there for Poland. 1 goal in 8 appearances since switching nationalities, and he's facing Saudi Arabia next. I would expect Poland to get a result there, regardless of what happened in the first match day, and Mati Cash at 4 million is still a decent option. The other one, though, is Borna Sosa, and I actually prefer him over any other kind of Croatian defender, including Gavardiol or even in goal Livakovic. So Borna Sosa would be my pick there, and he was very close to getting an assist actually in Matchday 1. Very, very close to opening the scoring there against Morocco, but it ended up being a 0-0 draw, and I think against Canada, despite how good they looked against Belgium, I still think Croatia will get the result and potentially another clean sheet. They've been one of the best defensive sides over the last year, especially in Europe. The final defender would be Luke Shaw, but it's between him and Trippier. I don't think Shaw is that much better than Trippier, but at the same time, when you look at the recent records of both players for England, Luke Shaw has got way more goals, and he's also getting the assists as he did in Matchday 1, and he's playing a bit more offensively compared to Trippier, who will mainly get his assists, I think, from set pieces, if anything. So I don't think there's a right or wrong. Trippier's still a great choice, and I don't mind going for him, but Luke Shaw has lower ownership, and I think he has that a bit more of attacking potential as well. I would make wholesale changes to the midfield if I wildcard, and Bukayo Saka would come in. He is the highest scoring player in the game with 15 points. He's the only midfielder to score 2 goals, and that's why it's so important to get these midfielders who score the goals and get those 7 points or more. And Bergwijn, despite his really disappointing performance in Matchday 1, he's playing out of position, and I would expect Netherlands to be even better offensively with Depay starting the game alongside Bergwijn instead of Janssen, which I think maybe slowed them down a little bit. So playing out of position, he's got a good chance of scoring goals and getting those 7 points that are crucial for a midfielder. And then Kostic, a really creative player. It's a shame key passes aren't really a thing. Otherwise, Kostic and De Bruyne would be even better options in this game. But they have the creativity, and they could even score a goal against the likes of Cameroon and Morocco in their cases. But I think Cameroon will finish bottom in that group, and it'll be between Serbia and Switzerland for second place. And I think Serbia might have the better chance, but of course we haven't seen how they played yet. The same goes for Switzerland at the time of this recording. But Kostic is a good option if you're looking for a 6 million midfielder and below. And as for De Bruyne, I would go for him over the likes of Bruno Fernandes, who's facing Uruguay, Leroy Sané, who's injured, and Germany are a complete mess at the moment. But what you could say is maybe go for Asensio or a Spain midfielder against Germany. I don't think that's a bad idea, and they might have a better chance of scoring than Kevin De Bruyne, which is exactly what you want and need. But for me, Kevin De Bruyne is the best premium midfielder in Matchday 2, and he is still a great player overall. Maybe an undeserved Man of the Match award in Matchday 1, but there are no points for that anyway. It doesn't really matter. I think he's a great option for the goals, but in particular, the assists and the creativity he has. He still created plenty of chances against Canada. They just weren't finished off. Let's now get into the forwards. Olivier Giroud is in here, but he is facing Denmark, which is a tough opponent. And even if France get a result, I don't expect them to batter Denmark. Over the last 2 games they've played each other, Denmark won both times, even in France. And I wouldn't completely rule them out despite the disappointing result against Tunisia, who also were very resolute defensively. But Giroud is the all-time top scorer for France alongside Thierry Henry. And I think he will break the record in this World Cup. And actually, I'm looking at it, I think he'll do it in the group stages, if anything. And Denmark is still, a decent fixture. I don't think it's that easy, but I think France will still be the favourites going into this, especially with their performance against Australia and the way they bounced back from going 1-0 down. And then Harry Kane, keep an eye on that situation. He could be out of the USA game, but at the moment, a lot of the scans indicate that it's all fine and he has a good chance of featuring there. So if that's the case, I think Harry Kane has a great chance of scoring goals. But you've also got Messi, Mbappe, and many other premium forwards who can fit the bill as well. Even Cristiano Ronaldo, but I wouldn't really favour him against Uruguay, but you just never can rule him out as well. So this is a good forward line, but it gets even better when we go to the substitutes. And remember, you want to have your substitutes playing on the later days and then sub them on. And also one key issue that people have been experiencing is not being able to make subs. That's because there is a rule which isn't in the rules section, and that's that you can't make more than 4 substitutions in a match day. So if you make a transfer, then try to bring this player in and you've already made 4 subs, you're not able to do that. So bear that in mind when you're making your transfers and when you're sorting out your bench. At the moment, I'm going for the likes of Harry Kane and Kevin De Bruyne for the captaincy with this provisional wildcard team, but I'm also looking at Neymar, and I want to see his performance for Brazil later on against Serbia, who are a decent opponent. But at the moment, my thinking is Harry Kane first captain, then either De Bruyne or Neymar second captain, and I think that would fit the bill and be really good stuff. Now, as you can see on my bench, I got Livakovic. I think double Croatian defense could be very risky against Canada, who look full of hunger and desire, and also you could say quality, especially in terms of the midfield and defense. It's just the final third that really let them down. They should have scored 2 or 3 goals against Belgium. So maybe Croatian defenders aren't the greatest in Matchday 2, despite on paper Croatia being the favourites and they've got a really good solid defence. So you could say it's fine, but I'd still be a bit worried about having a double up in the Netherlands and Croatian defences. Neymar, Marquinhos looks completely fine to me, despite the fact that they're facing Switzerland, who tend to be a really tough cookie to crack. Even in the last World Cup, they got a draw against Brazil. And then the last midfielder is Kamada for Japan. They've got a lot of quality players, like I said in my best wildcard team video. Mitoma from Brighton, Tomiyasu, Kamada's another one. Even Asano with that goal. He used to play for Arsenal at one point. So this is a really good squad overall. It's definitely completely different to my Matchday 1 team. No Argentina players. I still think you could make a case for some of their players, and I will be talking about that very soon. Let me show you some alternatives. It's really just 2 or 3 changes to this team that you would see. But I think this is what I'd mainly lean towards. You can let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. The 3 key moves would be Acuna in for Borna Sosa, Mitrovic in for Giroud, and Pasalic in for Kamada. Those would be the 3 changes. The rest looks exactly the same. The captaincy would be the same as well. Kane and De Bruyne, if not Neymar. And to be honest, if you're asking me right now, maybe Kane and Neymar would be the best captaincy options, despite midfielders getting 7 points for scoring a goal. So things are still left in the air. You can't discount Spain players. I'm looking at them in particular, but more so in the midfield and attack. Ferran Torres, Asensio, and Olmo. I'm also considering Messi still. I think he's a great option. You can't discount Argentina and Messi yet. I think they will bounce back and be able to qualify, but it's going to be difficult against Poland and Mexico, but I still think it's possible. And it's only one match day. We can't judge all these teams and players yet. A lot can change, and some teams grow into the tournament. Look at 2010 with Spain. They lost the first game and then ended up winning it and not conceding any goals, and they ended up just getting the job done with these constant 1-0 victories. So you just never know in World Cup football, and you never know in this sport in general. So let's wait and see. But this is a good foundation. You're getting some really good players in, playing for some good teams with some great fixtures as well on paper. So I think this would be a solid foundation for a Matchday 2 wildcard. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What would you change and which players are on your watch list? And thank you very much for watching this video. video. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, smash the like button and subscribe for new. Let's get this video to over 300 likes and let's push on towards 20,000 subscribers. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM, and you can also become a patron or a channel member. The links are in the description below. The same goes for the World Cup Fantasy League and the Discord server. All of that is there. I wish you all the best of luck for this World Cup tournament and the rest of the season in FPL, and I'll see you next time.